Hi, I have a bunch of rackets here that I'll be stringing today. In this video, I'll be stringing one of these rackets on my Prince P7000 machine for the last time. All right, let's get started. You might be thinking, what makes this significant or special? Well, I'm receiving a new machine tomorrow, and I'm conducting a contest to see if you can guess what that machine is. So here's how the contest works. First, if you'd like to check out what people have been guessing so far, check out the poll that I posted yesterday. All right, so second, to enter the contest, comment below with your guess. The deadline is Sunday, July 23rd, midnight, Hawaii time. From the people that have guessed correctly, I'll take those names and place them in a drawing and determine the winner and announce it in next week's video. So you might be wondering, what is the prize? Well, it's a Royal Kona Resort Tennis Club apparel item. So you can choose from a men's or a women's top, which looks like that. You can also choose from a visor or one of the hats I have here. Right there. And the last item is a towel with the logo on it right there. It's a golf towel that has a hole and a carabiner on it, so it's kind of nice. All right, so those are the prizes, and I'll finish up the racket. All right, so I'll go ahead and finish up the rest of this racket, and if you'd like to see me finish it, then stay tuned to the end. But if not, I hope that you participate in the contest and join me next week when I reveal the winner and the machine that I'll be getting. And I'll be doing a review and my first impression on the machine, so that'll be coming up next week. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and post some of the other videos along the way as I'm stringing up the crosses, related videos to what I'm doing, because I don't remember the exact title names. So I just want to make sure that you can see it. And also I provided the links down below to each of the videos. So right now I'm installing the crosses. I started from the second cross, and then I worked my way up to the first, and this is to help reduce friction and to also make the installation of the crosses a little bit faster. And so what I did is I just did 3 crosses, or I'm about to finish tensioning the third cross. I just finished weaving 3 crosses. But I'm gonna go ahead and weave this 4th one here and then leave it on tension, and then come back and tension that 3rd one. And that's when I'm gonna remove the starting clamp on the outside. I usually like to do it after the 3rd cross. And if you miss it, then you can always catch it on the 5th cross. The reason why is I don't like to wait till I get to the end and have this starting clamp on the string for that long period of time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just weave this and leave this untensioned and just hold it there, and go ahead and tie this off here. Now if you're curious about the string setup, it is one of my popular strings that I use. And on the mains, I have Prince Lightning Pro. It's in 17 gauge. And the crosses is Prince Tour XP, also in a 17 gauge. And I have another video where I have stringing guidelines. And I'll also post that video down below. And I typically like to run the synthetic or natural gut in the mains. I just feel like it's a better setup that way. You get more feel, a little bit more pop. I think the snapback is actually better when you have the softer string on the mains as opposed to the crosses. The advantage of having it on the cross is the polyester is going to be the mains, and it is a more durable setup that way. A little bit more control because of the fact that the polyester is that stiffer string. But I would try it with the synthetic or the gut in the mains first and see if you like it. And if it doesn't last as long as you want it to, then you could switch it to the other, reverse it the other way. All right, so as I'm weaving, you can see I'm using the pulley method. There's basically 3 types of methods. There's the pulling, the pushing, and I can't demonstrate it, but basically what you do is you weave the tip of the string through, and it's going to be usually away from your body, so you would just hold the tip and kind of weave it through that way. There is another way that a lot of the Japanese stringers do it, where it's a kind of a stitching, where they go up and down and they're manipulating the tip of the string. Yeah, I can't do it that way either. So anyway, I use the pulling method. And there's a one ahead technique where you want to always make sure you have an untensioned string in between, so it makes your weaving easier. Now, one of the things I'm doing is I'm always holding the end of the string so it's easier to find. And again, I did another video on that. So, all right. The other thing is when you pull it through, I like to just make sure I can pull it through in one pass. So that way when I get to the end, I just flip the tip over and put it in. So that's the goal when I weave it, and not to stop in the middle. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that on the next cross string. So let's say, it doesn't matter what method you're using, but I've seen some stringers where they'll weave it through and then kind of pull the string and then weave the second half of the string. I hope I didn't misweave there. Okay, yeah. And anyway, there's a pull in the middle of the, but I like to try and get through the entire string without having that pull. So again, I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. So I try to get enough string here just so that I can pull it through in one pass. And what I'm going to do is I just run this through here. And then when I get to the end, I just flip this tip over and just insert it to the hole. So there's no extra pull in the middle. All right, on this next string, or actually I have to weave this first and then I'll tell you what I was thinking about. All right, so when I'm tensioning each string, you'll notice that I always try to make sure it's in a straight line. Again, I did another video, so I'll post it on there and I'll provide the link. But basically you want to keep it in a straight line to get optimum tension. And I did some tests where I did it in a when it wasn't in a straight line, and how the tension is affected by that, the overall tension. So again, you want to keep it in a straight line, and even when it's being tensioned, try to hold your finger there, or I've seen some stringer use a straight awl to do that also. So yeah, you want to just make sure it always stays straight. All right, as you get to the end of the crosses, it's usually okay to just let go of the tip at that point, because it's easy to find since there's only a short length of string. I'm still holding on to it though, but probably let it go in the next one. And all right, so I'm getting down to the bottom. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it go. Now there's another thing that I noticed that with some stringers, when they're using the one head technique, is that after you weave it, instead of pulling the string that you just wove through and leaving a loop just enough to reach the tension head, I'll notice that some stringers will just go ahead and tension the string here. And then pull the entire string length through this way, which I find is you're working against a grain where there's some friction buildup there. So instead of doing it that way, I always try to tension it by leaving a loop just enough so that it reaches the tension head. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that on the next one. Running out of crosses here, I got 3 left, but so after I weave it through, I'm gonna pull this, and I'm gonna pull this while there's less friction here, because with the one ahead, it's raising and lowering the strings so that this can slide through easier. And then what you're gonna do is go ahead and tension. Again, I have just enough loop to tension. Yeah, I should have mentioned this earlier when I have more, longer length of string. But, all right, so let's see if I can do this again. Okay, yeah, so there's just enough of a loop so I can pull it. I actually skipped the Diabolo on that one because I don't have enough string length for it. And I also did another video on the use of the Diabolo, so I'll provide that link below. All right, so I'm done on the last cross, and I should have enough string here to actually make a loop here, so I can keep the one ahead untensioned there. But when you get to the bottom, I'll provide another link. You might encounter a hard weave here because of the fact that you have little space, and so sometimes you could just weave half of it through, and then maybe you could even pull the entire string length and then weave the second half. Just make sure that you go under or over appropriately in the middle, because you don't want to misweave. And you can always check to make sure that if the last string goes under the main, then the first one should have been over. So that's a quick way to make sure that you're not misweaving. Oh, I forgot to leave the loop. That's not good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this loop out. I'm gonna make sure I tension it. All right, there we go. All right, so now I can tension this last cross. Not function there. Nope. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna tie off and here. I typically use the pro knot in most situations when I'm stringing, so I'll do that here. All right, so you want to just make sure you straighten your mains and crosses. The mains will tend to kind of bow towards the middle, so you want to pull them out a little bit. Then you can check your crosses, use a straight awl if you want to save your fingers. But typically if you hold the strings as you tension, as I mentioned earlier, your crosses should come up fairly straight. And if you can get by without straightening at the end, that means you did a really good job. So right now it looks like it's pretty straight, so I don't need to do anything there. All right, so there it is. And I hope you join me next week when I reveal the winner of the contest and my new machine. Thanks for watching. Happy stringing. and let your strings play.